Today, I want to talk about fear. What is fear, and do we really need it in our life, and how can we overcome it? This is the topic of today's video. And like anything else in spirituality, it's all about shining a light. If we don't have a clear definition of what is fear, we can let it run our life, run us down actually sometimes, and we get lost in all these fears and trepidations, and we don't know what to do about it. There's sometimes a sense of losing control when fear takes over. And if we don't know what is fear and what is the purpose of fear and how to look at fear, then we are unconsciously getting run down by the motion of fear in our life. So this is the purpose of today's video, to shine a light on how fear works, and perhaps through that understanding, create clarity so we can remove fear from our day-to-day as much as possible. So when I say fear, I mean all types of fear. It could be stress, anxiety, it could be worrying, all that undercurrent. All these words insinuate a certain type of fear. And fear is never about the present moment. Fear is always future forward. Nothing about fear is happening now. All of fear is in some future moment. And I want to emphasize this because once we understand that we can say with a great degree of certainty that all of fear is also an illusion. Nothing of fear is real at this moment, so it's mind-made and it's an illusion of sorts. It feels very real, but it's just a projection into the future. If you are afraid of flights, you're not afraid of flying, you're afraid of what will happen if the plane crashes. If you're standing on the edge of a cliff, you're not afraid of this beautiful sight that you see in front of you. You're afraid what will happen after you fall. The moment you hit the ground, that's the fear. Even though it seems very immediate and right in front of us, it's about the next moment. But of course, fear is not just about standing on the cliff. Sometimes we're afraid about what will happen tomorrow, or what will happen a year from now. How will our life unfold? And it creates a fear and worries about certain things that come and go. But it's important to notice that it's never about the here and now, which also points to a place where you can understand that there's no essence in it. Because if it's not about the here and now, it's affecting our here and now, but yet it is not here and it's not now. So all of it is mind-made illusions. And it's designed to keep us alive and safe. All of fear is designed to keep us alive and safe. And it needs to worry about what will happen next. Perhaps emotion from our ancestries that they had to worry at every given moment, what will be around the bend? What will be in this place in the forest? Should we venture into going this place or that place? There's always a need to worry, to be afraid, because the next moment you could die. But this is not the case in our world. Often, whatever we fear, if we fear about the loss of a relationship, or fear what will happen when we travel to a certain place, or when we fear if we start a venture, a business, how it will unfold, that fear is an illusion because you don't know really what will be. And if you don't know what will be, it could actually be anything in your mind, literally anything. It does not feel like you're going to have a monster attack you, because that's illogical. But since fear knows you best, it knows how to regulate you into believing something to be so true in the next moment that you actually have a visceral feeling in you that you are afraid to look at it. At some moment in my life, I was about to have a surgery. And of course, this is the first time I ever had that, and I was afraid. I was fearing what will happen. I mean, of course, there's a chance that I will not come back from this. This is my mind was telling me. And I started to even feel this in my body. Then I reminded myself that it's really just an illusion of some imagined reality. It was a moment of clarity, and I said, really, what am I worrying about? I'm going to go into the surgery 5 minutes from now. There's really nothing I can do about it. I have to just trust and let go of the fear. That moment really cleared that notion that I have to worry, fear about something because it's already happening. And then I just picked up a book and I was reading, waiting for my surgery to happen. And as you can see, I'm alive. All of fear is like that. Most of fear, I would say, I don't know, 90% of things that we imagine never come to be. And for the slight chance that something will actually be as we thought it would be, feared it would be, actually, then you handle it, right? If the worst case scenario happens, you always handle it in the present moment. That's why fear is so hard to negotiate, because you can never handle it now. Whatever is in your mind is not happening now, so there's no way to take care of it. It's just like a fear. But when it's happening in the present moment, something that you need to take care of, worst case scenario happened, you lost your leg, now you have to deal with it. But you cannot worry about it a year in advance or a month in advance. Of course, we don't just jump into the cliffs. Behind the cliff, seeing what will happen, we have to really be conscious and care about ourselves. But if you don't practice any reckless behavior, there's really nothing to be afraid of. And if you practice reckless behavior, I would suggest start being afraid. That brings me to the next point that I want to make, because a lot of times people confuse being afraid of fire, which will maybe burn us in the future, to being afraid of being burnt. That will happen immediately, right? If you're afraid of being burnt, there's no fear. It's just instinct. If your house is on fire, if you start being afraid, you actually get paralyzed. You don't know what to do. Fear has no knowing on how to take care of it, because it's not about now. The instincts that will kick in the moment your house is on fire is for your self-protection. And then you can run away or do something about it. There's no fear when in the immediate moment you have something that you need to protect yourself through. So it's really interesting to notice that, like, sometimes we confuse fear with this instinct. We say we don't want to be burnt, but the fire is not happening now. Whatever you worry about is not in this moment. It's just the next moment. It's the future moment. So actually, there's nothing to be afraid about. Fear is an illusion. Actually, this is a really important point to this message. And if you allow fear to run you down, you are attaching yourself to illusions. All of it is an illusion. If you are afraid about something, ask yourself, where in time is it? And you will see it's not about now. It's about some moment in time. And then you can say how logical this fear is. Perhaps you will get a very logical response. If this is very logical, I need to focus my mind on it. But is it? So I would encourage you to just pay attention next time you're afraid of something and actually see if it comes to be as you were afraid it would be. And more often than not, that you will see, actually go back in your history, you will see it was not like that. But we tend to forget and move on because it regulates us. It needs to regulate us. Emotions need to regulate us so we will not do stupid, silly things. If you are thinking about jumping from the window, it needs to make you feel bad. So it has a way to take control over you and to make sure that you don't do that. So all of fear has this connection to how we operate in life. And often when we have fear, it just stops us from moving forward. It's also important to note that the root cause of every angry moment in our life emanates from fear. And as we discussed today, fear is an illusion. So why are we angry? This is an interesting question. I made a whole video just about anger. And if you haven't watched that video, I will put the link below. So I recommend you to watch that and see what is anger and how can we overcome that as well. Perhaps I can make a last point about fear, that the opposite of love is not hate. It is fear. Fear creates walls. It prevents us from seeing what's next. Love breaks those walls. We want to jump into the unknown. With fear, you don't want to see what's behind the wall. With love, you're not worried, you trust, and you are jumping into the unknown, which basically says, enjoy life, not worry about too much. Just allow yourself to just be present with the love that you are. And every time you make a decision, by the way, the underlying process between each decision you make is between fear and love. All of decisions are between fear and love. If you're choosing a career path, if you're choosing what car to buy, if you're choosing your next travel destination, is all the choice between fear and love. And this is a very interesting observation. So every time you need to make a decision, just ask yourself, are you choosing out of fear or out of love? Out of connecting to reality or holding on to illusions? Which direction are you going to choose? So this is my 2 cents on fear. I hope this was helpful and meaningful. If you do not agree with me, I would love to hear about it in the comments below. That will help me grow, and I will definitely respond to that. Please subscribe, because this helps me understand that people are watching and enjoying this. This is meaningful for them. Thank you for your time.